Morning to all. Today our topic for discussion is sulfonamides and quatermoxazole. The objective of today's session is we are going to talk in detail about sulfonamides and about their introduction about sulfonamide and mechanism of action of sulfonamides, uses of sulfonamides, and adverse effects of sulfonamides, and another important drug, quatermoxazole, and why what is the combination of quatermoxazole, and what is the rationale behind its combination, uses and adverse effects of quatermoxazole. So, before going into detail about sulfonamides, there is I'm going to give a small introduction about sulfonamides. Sulfonamides are the first effective antimicrobial agent to be used systemically in humans. They were introduced by a German scientist. It was first introduced by a German scientist named Gerard Dockmark, he is a medical doctor, and he has been employed as a doctor in a dye company. So accidentally he has identified, discovered a dye known as Brontosil, which he has used orally, and he would to identify that it has been effective drug in curing a life-threatening streptococcal infections in humans. And he was successfully used this Brontosil to save his daughter when she was suffering from a streptococcal infections. And later on, he was awarded as a Nobel Prize in year 1939. If you see the chemistry of sulfonamides, though it has been recognized since 1932, but the clinical use has been used since 1935. The first compound to be effective antimicrobial agent in a safer dose ranges. So though we call it as sulfonamides and as an antimicrobial, but these we are called as synthetic antimicrobial agents rather than an antimicrobial agent. If you see chemically, it is in a molecule containing sulfonamido, that is a functional group that is attached to an aniline. It is structurally resembles or related to a para-aminobenzoic acid, which is an essential compound for the synthesis of folic acid. So there are few non-antimicrobial compounds which are having a similar structure of sulfonamides that include sulfonylureas, benzothiazides, furosemide, acetazolamide. Though they are non-antimicrobial and antibacterial drug, they are having a property of inhibiting the bacterial growth, and so they called as this drug as a sulfa drugs. If you see the spectrum of sulfonamides, they are mainly active against gram-positive and some gram-negative bacteria. Example: streptococcal infection, Shigella, hemo-influenza, Salmonella, Vibrio cholera, pneumococci. So these are the spectrum of antimicrobials. So if you see the mechanism of action, so PABA sulfonamides, they mainly inhibit an enzyme, a folic acid synthetase an enzyme, which is a rate limiting enzyme for the synthesis of difolic acid. This folic acid is an essential essential for the synthesis of nucleic acid, for there to produce purines and pyrimidine. So bacteria synthesize their own folic acid by using a PABA as a substrate in presence of folic acid synthetase and synthesis folic acid. Since sulfonamides, they have structural resemblance and they inhibit the folic acid synthetase, so there will be deficiency of folic acid So that results in the inhibition of bacterial growth as well as injury to the bacterial cell wall, mainly caused by sulfonamides. So they act as a bacteriostatic. Sulfonamides are bacteriostatic. The reason is they inhibit the synthesis of folic acid, which is an essential component for the bacteria. So PABA, which is a substrate in the presence of folic acid, they could able to synthesize the folic acid that is essential for their growth and as well as development of cell wall. Since sulfonamides having a structural resemblance with the folic acid, they could not able to folic acid, they inhibit the folic acid synthesis, so there won't be formation of folic acid, then there will be deficiency. So sulfonamides are act as a bacteriostatic drugs. Coming into the uses, because if you see the at present use of sulfonamides, their use has been restricted because of their side effects, side effects, and availability of better drug and drug resistance. But since even though sulfonamides are being used in combination with trimethoprim, the and trimethoprim in combination, that is cartromoxazole and pyrimethamine, the treatment of malaria along with artemisinin derivatives. The very important use of sulfonamide is in UTI, urinary tract infections, and toxoplasmosis, and lymphogranuloma venereum, and malaria, along with sulfadoxine and pyrimethamine combination with artemisinin in treatment of malarial fever. We use this combination. Coming to the prophylactic use, in allergic patient, those patients that are allergic to penicillin, sulfonamides are used prophylaxis for streptococcal pharyngitis in rheumatic fever. Topically, sulfahistamine drops, which are used in bacterial conjunctivitis, being because of their can readily penetrate into aqueous humor. Coming to the adverse effects, the main important adverse effect of sulfonamides are crystalluria. This is mainly because sulfonamides are being in a acidic drugs. They get precipitate in the acidic urine. So there is a chance of crystallinuria. So this is one of the important side effect of sulfonylureas, and renal irritation, hematuria, albuminuria. These are the important side effect of sulfonamide. And another important thing is allergic reaction. Sulfonamides can produce a range of hypersensitivity reactions that include rashes, fever, anaphylactic reactions, and urticaria. And another third important side effect is anorexia, nausea, stomatitis, abdominal pain, conjunctivitis, and arthritis can also occur with sulfonamides. And hemolytic anemia is another important side effect of sulfonamide. It is particularly seen in those patients having a deficiency of glucose 6-phosphate deficiency. In these patients, there will be a seen hemolytic anemia is seen. And in children, particularly newborn children and lactating mother, sulfonamides are contraindicated because there is a high risk of developing a kernicterus, which is mainly due to displacement of bilirubin from plasma binding site. Because of this displacement reaction, the bilirubin can readily crosses the blood-brain barrier, and that can cause that can deposit in the brain. This is the important side effect of sulfonamide, Steven-Johnson syndrome, and another is toxic epidermal necrolysis. This is one of the dermatitis inflammation side effect. Then coming to the contraindications, they are contraindicated during lactation. They are contraindicated in children, infants and children, and contraindicated during pregnancy. Now we are going to see the other important drug, cartromoxazole. Cotrimoxazole, which is used as a combination of both sulfamethoxazole and trimethoprim. Cotrimoxazole, uh, which are used as a fixed dose combination, um, of 5:1 ratio. We call cotrimoxazole as a sequential blockage. That I am going to explain in detail in the next slide. And if you see individually, sulfamethoxazole and trimethoprim, they are both bacteriostatic. But when we give in a combination, they act as a bactericidal, and they, because of showing individually, if you use this drug, there is a high chance of developing drug resistance. So that can be delayed, that can be prevented by when you use these two drugs in a combinations. Then coming into the spectrum of cotrimoxazole, they are active against gram-positive and gram-negative organism like E. coli, Proteus, Shigella, and Salmonella. Coming to the mechanism of action, cotrimoxazole mainly we call as it inhibits a sequential blockade, since it is a combination of both sulfamethoxazole as well as trimethoprim. Sulfamethoxazole inhibits at a point of folic acid synthesis, and trimethoprim inhibit dihydrofolate reductase. So there won't be a production of folic acid synthesis. So that is the reason why we call cotrimoxazole as a sequential blockage, because the two drugs in this combination are acting at a different sites and blocking the folic acid synthesis. As I already told you that folic acid is an essential compound, essential for the bacteria for its growth and development. Since there is a deficiency of this, that can cause bactericide static effects. The reason for combination of these two drugs together, giving a drug together, because both are having a similar pharmacokinetic property. And if you see the trimethoprim, which can cross the blood-brain barrier and placental barrier, whereas sulfamethoxazole does not cross the blood-brain barrier and placental barrier. And when we use these two drugs in combination, the ratio obtained in plasma when two drugs are given is the ratio 5:1, because trimethoprim enters many tissues and has a large volume of distribution, where sulfamethoxazole is chosen since it is pharmacokinetics closely matches to trimethoprim. Then if you see individually, both the components are maximum synergic effect is seen when the organism sensitive to both the components, but even it is moderate resistant to one component, the action of other could be enhanced. So if you see the diagrammatic representation, where you can see the single metal cluster between the silver and the gold, weakly when they are individually they are having a weak fluorescence, but when they combine together, there is a synergism effect, and there will be a bimetallic cluster, and there is a strong fluorescence is seen. Coming to the adverse effects, the main important adverse effect is in GIT. It can cause nausea and a headache, and there is a permanent impairment of renal can occur in a pre-existing renal disease. And another important is on blood. It can cause bone marrow depression, and that can cause thrombocytopenia. In crystalluria, since sulfonamide is highly, it is a acidic drugs, and they get dissolved in the in the acidity of the urine, so that can cause crystalluria and renal dysfunction. Then in elder patient, there is a high risk of bone marrow toxicity. Coming into the uses, it is mainly used in uncomplicated acute UTI infections. Since cotrimoxazole is given 7 to 10 days treatment PD, both the trimethoprim sulfamethoxazole attain a good concentration in the urine, and chronic and recurrent UTI can be seen that can be prevented by small doses of prophylaxis, whereas in bacterial prostatitis, trimethoprim attains a higher concentration in prostatic fluids. In respiratory tract infection, upper and lower respiratory tract infection include bronchitis and sinusitis and otitis media. Cotrimoxazole has been proved to be very effective drug, and in case of typhoid, it has been used as alternative drug to fluoroquinolones, and it is also been shown to be effective in bacterial diarrheas. And the other important is in the use of cotrimoxazole in the chancroid, is a drug of choice. So with this, I will quickly revise today's summarize that our discussion. Sulfonamides, which are active against both gram positive and a gram negative bacteria, because of development of more drug resistance and availability of better drugs. These uses has been restricted, and coming to the cotrimoxazole, which is the combination of both sulfamethoxazole and trimethoprim. These two drugs are individually, they are bacteriostatic, but when they combine together, they act as a bactericidal action. Their mechanism they call as a sequential blockade, because these two drugs block at a different sites. So we call it as drugs, as a sequential blockading drugs. Coming to the side effect, cotrimoxazole mainly it can induce crystalluria in adults, and this also can cause hypersensitivity reactions. And coming to the uses, it is as used in UTI infections and uncomplicated UTI infections, and it is also can be used in the typhoid, but because of availability of better alternative drugs such as fluoroquinolone, their use has been declined. And in bacterial diarrheas, fluoroquinolones are shown to be very effective. Those bacteria that is associated with E. coli, cotrimoxazole has been shown to be very effective. And another important in chancroid, cotrimoxazole is the one of the drug of choice. So with this, I conclude today's my session. Thank you.